The NFL stands for not for long.
Set, Sharga and Armstead. Roll out, Walker still running out. Looks to the left, wide open, Thompson touchdown. Colin Thompson with the touchdown. There was nobody within 20 yards of
What a catch off the bobble. Colin Thompson scoops it up.
Lofting corner, the end zone. It is caught for the touchdown. The first NFL touch for Colin Thompson is a score.
What is going on, everybody? We're back, Jack. Colin Thompson Show. Jack Connell, along with Colin Thompson, presented by Not For Long Media and our presenting sponsor, the original Fudge Kitchen, shipping fudge and sweet treats. You know the drill. Across the country, fudgekitchens.com. I'll be in Cape May next weekend. Looking forward to hitting the fudge shop, buying some fudge. Jackie boy, football is back, my friend. I spent the entire day yesterday door dashing and watching football, ordering dinner, breakfast, and lunch to the house because we just didn't have groceries. We didn't want to miss a second of football. We had a blast. How was your inaugural football Sunday?
It was nice. It was nice to get back in the swing of things. I think like this year, I don't know if I mentioned this before. I feel like this is the year I've been most in tuned with the league and the fact that like I know like and I understand a lot of things going on. Like previous years, like I didn't know much about like certain teams' offensive lines or secondaries and stuff. But now that I feel like this is my first full year of really like diving in heavy on work and hearing so much discussion about football, I feel like this is the most well-versed I've been about the league in a long time. And it was fun to sort of watch that unfold. But I mean, it wasn't bad football, but it absolutely was rusty. And I think that's something that a lot of teams have talked about in post-game press conferences and Monday morning conferences.
I think you bring up a good point there. People diving in and learning more about football. There's more access now on anything that we are doing to get more knowledge of football, whether it's following Baldy's breakdowns, whether it's following a guy like Brett Coleman, who's on our show. If you don't know who Brett is, YouTube him and find him. If you're a football person, you want to learn more about it. Sound more articulate at the bar when you're talking about football. Watch that guy's stuff. He's really sharp. But it's a great point, Jack. I think with fantasy football now, it's pushing people to learn more. All these stuff, learn more, which equals more dollar signs for the NFL and everyone affiliated with it or people talking about it. So that's good for business. The league is healthier than it's ever been. The quarterback play across the league was something I noticed yesterday of just there's studs across the board, pretty much on every team. And it's just really fun to watch. First and foremost, to start the show, really the sad part of this whole thing is it's 9/11 today. And, I don't even know where to go with it other than the fact that we will never forget it here in my family and with it's just devastating, right? I was in second grade and, I'll never forget the day where I'm in Mrs. Krupas's second grade class and she says, everyone sit in a circle, pretzel style, cross your legs and put your hands on your legs or whatever. I just remember all this weird stuff like it was yesterday. And she said, hey, a plane crashed and you guys are all going home. I thought it was like a Doylestown airport, small prop plane airport in my hometown situation. And, it wasn't. Obviously, it was horrible. I came home and my dad and my uncle, who flew for United at the time and used to fly one of those planes that went into one of the towers, were just crying nonstop. And, my uncle just retired from the Naval Academy at the time. And I know he was struggling with that too. Shout out to Captain Ken Stalk. But guys, this utter devastation. I know we all remember where we were when it happened and our thoughts and prayers. It's really the only way I can put it to everyone who's been suffering. Our country is still suffering from it. The families, the firefighters, the first responders. It's the most devastating thing. I don't even know what to say. We don't even know what to post at our media company because we're in this fear of like, we need to post some. It's just a whole thing, and it's really sad and devastating. Nonetheless, and again, our thoughts and prayers to everyone 9/11. I don't like to bring up somber stuff on the show, but it's real life. And I thought, what New York City did last night at the football game in North Jersey there, Queen Latifah absolutely killed the national anthem and having FDNY and having all these folks holding, the American flag, and it shows how tough our country is, how resilient we are, how we can come together. And there's a lot of differences in the country. I think the phones and news feeds into all that and makes it, I think, worse than it is, but that's neither here nor there. There's a lot of amazing people in this world who do a lot of amazing things, and they have different beliefs about, politics and whatever that may be. But just overall thoughts and prayers, and our country is stronger than it's ever been, I believe. And I believe that, good things are ahead. And I don't even know where to go with this, Jack, but we move forward, of course. And there's lots to discuss on the show today. Yoni Rosenblatt will be joining us today. He is a physical therapist that's been joining us in the past to talk all things injuries. And I'm going to make sure he has the link. And he's going to come on and talk about the JK Dobbins situation. He's close to that situation and the Ravens overall. We're going to get into the 5 weekend winners that kind of a new segment that I'm going to have weekly. We're going to get in stocks I'm buying and stocks that I'm selling, brought to you by one of our sponsors here, a new one, but I've always been with us, Wealth Advisory Services. If you don't know them, you should. Wealth Advisory Services, Doylestown in Cape May, New Jersey, our financial advisor here at the Thompson household, and they've done amazing things for us. Of course, we're going to get into the bar of the week. Lots of stuff going on there. Had a beers at a great little bar in Annapolis this weekend. So I had a great time there. Annapolis played Wagner. And it was so cool, Jack, before the games. We live right next to the stadium. Jets fly over before the game. So you can hear the national anthem going on, and usually about halfway through, 3/4 way through, you can start to hear the Jets in the distance. And then right when they finish up, 2 F-18s, I think they were, just like buzz the house, shake the house. The whole dogs are freaking out in the neighborhood. And it's like the greatest thing in the world. So, man, we're jacked up, and it was just cool living in this area, and you get all the, the patriotism, and they did some 9/11 tributes too. And again, man, crazy day. This day is 9/11. It's so sad. And again, everyone in our thoughts and prayers. So Jack, we're good to go with Yoni. We send him all that stuff.
Yes.
All right, cool. So
platform.
I'm going to dive into the bar of the week this week on the Colin Thompson Show, brought to you by Fudge Kitchen, fudgekitchens.com. The bar of the week, McGarvey Saloon and Oyster Bar, Annapolis, Maryland. This place is a history lesson into just old Annapolis, on the water, the cobblestone streets, the old Navy bars. I was texting my uncle this weekend. I said over under, how many beers have been consumed here by midshipmen. He said hammer the over. That is the meeting place, the watering hole for all the, men and women that have served our country, primarily Navy folks. I would assume that 2 blocks away is the Naval Academy, but a great old historic bar, 45 years old. It was built in 1879. That building was. It's been multiple different things, and it was founded in 1974 by an Air Force captain, of course. And now it's owned by, 3 Navy midshipmen. This place has got great food, oysters, burgers. I had the shrimp po' boy this weekend. It was delicious. Great bar in the front, great bar in the back. They got the tree in the back and the middle. It's just like a cool, funky, rustic, but local Maryland crab, oyster bar vibe. It's awesome. You can't beat it. There's so much going on. Front bar, back bar, like I said, great bartenders, great service, food and ambiance, 5 out of 5. Cold beer, 4 out of 5. Has to be on ice to be a 5 out of 5. TVs, not a ton of them, and that's okay. It's just all about kind of the vibe, getting together with friends. There's a couple. So TVs at 3 out of 5, and the service a 5 out of 5. Of course, you can't beat it there. And it's in a great location right downtown, right in Ego Alley. So an overall score of 17 out of 20 to our friends over at McGarvey Saloon and Oyster Bar, our bar of the week on the Colin Thompson Show. Well, speaking of the devil, the great Yoni Rosenblatt is joining us. We're going to boot Jack out. We're going to get Yoni in here. Yoni, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I love entering a show when you're talking about oysters. I've never had an oyster in my entire life. Never once, not one. There's somewhere in the Old Testament it says not to eat oysters. Why? I don't know, but that's why I've never had one.
You're a better man than me, my friend. I've had several.
Just a different man.
You are. Now, can you go into the crustacean thing about your faith as well?
Well, I'll tell you what I do know. All I know is if it lives in the sea, it's got to have fins and scales for me to eat it. So that excludes all things bottom crawlers. I don't think there's a reason given in the Old Testament. That's why we call it faith.
I like it. Strong. There's our faith lesson. We had a little politic lesson earlier today. We gave a little tribute to 9/11. I was just speechless the whole time. It was a horrible tribute, but I don't even know what to say. There is nothing to say other than everyone's in our thoughts and prayers, and it was such a really tough time for our country and our world. Where were you on 9/11, Yoni?
I was in a kinesiology class at University of Maryland College Park. I was a freshman. And we took a break, like people were like, something just happened. Also, I was at College Park. So, the Pentagon was kind of like under threat or something like that. Like a plane landed, was supposed to head towards the Pentagon, I believe. So people were like really worried that stuff was going to then transpire like on campus. So I definitely remember being there. And I remember just no one being able to get a hold of the people they knew in New York. And you talk about fear. It's that unknown that just led to terrible fear. So
yeah,
thoughts and prayers.
No doubt. Tough day. We move forward with some sports, some relief from the real world, as they call it.
Yeah.
The Ravens, devastating injury. JK Dobbins, stud running back for them. He's been battling injuries. You know more about that stuff. Can you talk about his, career as a Ravens fan and medically, and then what's to come with the Achilles situation?
Yeah, a few things to highlight there. Number one, this is an unbelievable example and proof of how all these systems need to work together beautifully to produce on the field at a maximum. And so JK's had a history of not just an ACL reconstruction, although he underwent that, but along with that ACL reconstruction, he also had an LCL involvement. And I believe he had some meniscal involvement as well. I mean, you're talking about a catastrophic knee surgery and then subsequent rehabilitation. He played through that early. Coming back, he chose to get back on the field early from that initial surgery. And then, I mean, there's a stark memory in a lot of Ravens fans' mind where he had a breakaway. I think it was his first week back, and he looked good until he was about 10 yards past the line of scrimmage. And all of a sudden, you really saw what kind of deficit JK still had in that knee, because he looked like he was just dragging one of his legs for 20 or so yards. And then so subsequently he had a bunch of scar tissue in that knee. He had it cleaned out and then returned that same year. That was last year. So the guy's been under the knife that we know of twice. I bet you there was a third scope in there for the knee. And so now he's coming back. And this is why I made the original point. Those legs need to be beautifully symmetric in order to have the lowest chance at injury. It's never totally preventable. And if you are not there, something is liable to give way. And it could be that's what we were seeing with this Achilles injury.
Devastating. I saw him get rolled up on, and I was like, ooh, that's like high ankle sprain territory or dorsiflex. No, the opposite of dorsiflex.
Opposite is plantar flex, when your toes pointed away from you.
Yeah, so he's like plantar flex because you get someone rolling up on you, right? And it's like, oh boy, please. And you just got to go limp as a player, which is very hard to do. I was talking to Christian McCaffrey one time. He's like, I just know how to like calm my body. Now he's been dinged up a little bit, but not anymore. Christ, you guy's a baller. But he was like, I just know how to go like kind of numb and like not limp, but like just kind of roll with it, because if you fight against it, right, super strong, things snap and pop. So what's the future for JK here, Yoni, when it comes to how long until surgery, how long until he comes back?
Yeah. So how long until surgery? That'll probably happen in the next week or so. And it really depends what happens when he goes to sleep and they go in there and what exact procedure that they do. This is not so dissimilar from the UCL conversation that we had recently, the Tommy John conversation. So it used to be, first of all, the Achilles rupture and subsequent repair was a career ender. And there are so many examples of this. where guys just lose their pop, lose their quickness, and their career is over. It doesn't matter how young they are. Glaringly, I remember LeVar Arrington. He ruptured his Achilles. His career was over. And you talk about a beast of an athlete. Very rapidly, he lost his athleticism. We've come a long way as a rehab community that we've gotten better at putting these athletes back together, giving them what they need. Blood flow restriction has been a big player in that, just the ability to build muscles quicker so that we can overcome these devastating tendinous injuries. Now, surgically, recently, the medical community has come up with better ways to repair this Achilles tendon. And so just like with the UCL, the Tommy John ligament, where they're able to now repair these ligaments, they're becoming better at repairing the ligament with what's called an internal brace of the Achilles. It's not a ligament, it's a tendon, but they're repairing the tendon and bolting it down to your heel bone. So when you bolt that tendon down to your heel bone, it's a far firmer fixation. No longer are you then worried about pulling on the graft or the repair, I should say, too quickly. And so these guys start hitting the ground running, so to speak, quicker. And so their time to return to sport is far less. And their power, their strength, everything that defines them as an athlete is far easier to recoup when you get this internal brace. Now, not everyone can get this internal brace because it matters where the Achilles actually ruptured as to whether you're a candidate to string that repair down to the ankle bone. If it is torn too high up the Achilles tendon, you're no longer a candidate to bolt it back down into that heel bone. Then you're just tying sutures around the muscle, the soft tissue, and you're praying to God that it holds. And then you have to be very careful early on. So it takes a long time to put weight through the foot. The muscle starts to go to hell, atrophy, waste. Now it takes you longer to get back on the field. Now, once you've lost that amount of muscle, it takes forever to get it back. And sometimes it doesn't come back. So not to say that if you have a standard Achilles repair without that internal brace, you're not coming back, because like I said, you are, and you're more likely to get that explosiveness back. It just takes way longer. Specific examples, you see a guy like Cam Akers, a running back for the Chiefs. That guy's back on the field 5.5 months after an Achilles repair. That's because he had that internal brace. You look at the Kevin Durant's of the world. Now you're talking, I think it was like over 500 days in between NBA contests, because when you take your time, when you have to let that tissue heal all the way up that Achilles tendon, it just takes so much longer. So it depends what procedure they're going to do. We're not going to know, other than, is he coming back in 5.5 months, or is he coming back in 9 months to a year?
We will keep track of that. Fact check: Cam Akers, LA Rams, not Kansas City Chiefs. But
damn it.
Hey, successful team. I mean, listen, you're probably just like getting mixed up with Super Bowl champion teams here, pal. I mean, heck,
I'll tell you what I mixed up. I mixed that up. There you go.
That's okay. Yeah. What's the latest at True Sports? What do you guys got going on, man?
A whole bunch of things. We're growing like wildfire in Delaware, so that's been really awesome. Shout out to Matt Taxon up in Delaware. He's putting on a good show for his patients and getting them better, most importantly. And we're really, our team is expanding rapidly for good reason. Athletes in Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Delaware, they're coming to trust our brand, and I gotta thank the Colin Thompson show for that.
I'll tell you what. I am I'm a sounding P. I wear the t-shirts, right? I'm shouting out small businesses, and now I'm sending friends to you. So yeah, if you're in the area and you need a good PT, this is the spot. I'm proven, right? I was a tattered wheel, and I'm moving well and moving the best of my career this training camp, and I'm looking forward to being with the team here soon. We will find out in the next episode of what the hell is going on in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yoni, thank you, my friend, for jumping on quickly and talking a little JK Dobbins.
Love it. See you guys.
See you, bud. We'll see you soon. Jack, we're going to get Jack back. We're going to boot Yoni out. And everything is excellent per usual. Jack, what shirt you wearing there, buddy? Is that a Shore Boy shirt?
It is a Shore Boy. I don't know. Was this a shirt, a hoodie, long sleeve? I don't know. Whatever it is, it's very comfortable. I will say that much. I love wearing this shirt.
We have a new clothing partner with us, the Shore Boy product. Really cool stuff. And Temple grad, reached out to me and said, hey, listen, you guys want to represent some stuff for us? No problem. So they sent us a bunch of stuff. Awesome company. The shirt's comfy, Jack. It looks cool, calm, and collected. I have mine tuned up this weekend for Cape May. I've not put it on yet, but I've held the material. It's like clean, crisp, super comfy, SPF 50 plus, I believe. It's really nice stuff.
I did not know that part about that. It's good to know. I guess if you're a shore boy, it makes kind of sense on that part, but I haven't been down the Jersey Shore yet this summer. Well, I guess.
Yeah, I got to dive into. Yeah, I could tell you're pasty, but that's neither here nor there. So no, Shore Boy's an awesome company, guys. Check them out. New and upcoming. And they wanted to, we were talking to the owner. He's like, listen, I just wanted everyone to know that like this is a legit clothing, great material. This isn't like something you're buying on the shore that you wear for one summer. It deteriorates in the dryer and it's gone. It's good materialistic stuff. So check out Shore Boy. All right, Jack. New segment, bud. We got 5 weekend winners. Starting out at number 5. Can you cue up a little Ole Miss ball boy for me there, Jack, in the back?
Yes, I can.
So for those that aren't watching, and Jack's going to keep replaying this for us. If you're not watching this on YouTube, you should be. But if you aren't, and Jack hit that again, essentially Ole Miss player catches the ball on the sideline. He gets hit. He goes out of bounds. But they're in a hurry-up situation. And the ball boy on the Ole Miss team has the wherewithal to tell him, hey, man, stop celebrating, talking shit, and get the ball back to the hash. We're going hurry up. This is the ball boy. This is the guy who's paying to go to school, going to class, and then in his free time is working 8 straight hours and doing laundry and spotting the football in practice and grinding. Shout out to equipment managers across football and all sports. They're grinders. And this guy, he's around football so much. He cares so much. He's telling the wideout, you got to get the ball back to the hash. Get the ball back to the hash. Guys, this is a staff member. This isn't a coach. This is a staff member. So shout out to the ball boy for Ole Miss, and shout out to Jack for having the video prepped because I think he was one of the 5 best things I saw all weekend. That was unreal. Ole Miss equipment staff dialed in on the football stuff too. That's premier. Number 4 for me, Tom Brady. Obviously, Tom is the greatest football player ever to walk. He's the most accomplished football player ever to walk. The guy's an absolute stud. And I thought the Patriots did a first-class job honoring him. The first person to ring the bell for the season, $250 million, addition to their stadium. That was so cool. The Kraft family's waiving the Hall of Fame period of time. They're putting him right into the Hall of Fame, which I think is great. The speech was great. It goes back to, where you get drafted, what team you go to, and the timing of it really matters. He went to the Patriots in a time of transition with quarterback, and Bledsoe was the man. But if anything happened to him, right, who's behind him? Tom Brady got his opportunity. He never looked back, right? And it's a first-class organization. Obviously, Coach Bill Belichick's one of the best, if not the best coach of all time. Robert Kraft is an owner. Unbelievable. The facilities are really nice there. I was been able to play there a couple times in college and professional. We had joint practice in New England last year. So really cool. A great city, a great fan base. Reminds me a lot of Philly. But I'll tell you what, Jack, just like your head of hair, Tom Brady's head of hair is ridiculous. I mean, this guy gets better with looking with age, whatever he's taken. I want a piece of it. Good on you, Tom, and good on the Patriots. Congrats on an amazing career. His first time, Tony Romo was talking about this. That's his first time not putting on pads on the opening weekend in the NFL and in college football in like 25 years. That's a lot of time, Jack, in the back. When's the last time you put helmet and shoulder pads on, Jack?
2019, 5 years.
What was your last game, Jack?
So, Thanksgiving 2018. So yeah, I guess 5 years almost.
Did you cry after?
No.
Okay, I cried. It's okay. You can cry. The third winner of the weekend, Brock Purdy and the Niners. I mean, listen, they just proved to us, right? Like, hey, we're not messing around. They're on a war path, and that team is ready to win now. The coach is, the GM is. They just signed Boza. Their team is stacked. If you could build a better team in the NFL, it's very hard to do. I think the Eagles roster is up there with them, but extremely impressive win. You go to Pittsburgh to open the season. It's like a 10 a.m. Pacific time, kickoff. So they're playing at 10 a.m. Pacific time on Eastern time zone, 1 o'clock. And they just came out in the whole game. They just completely dominated the whole play. Tough place to play. we had Yoni on talking about the UCL injury, Tommy Johns, and Purdy's out there just moving the ball around. The offense is just humming, and it's week 1. Wait till they get going. And, it was funny. I talked to C-Mac when he went out there, and he's like, dude, everybody just knows they're really good here. There's nobody like talking about it or being about it. It's like walk soft, carry a big stick, and like we're going to go beat your ass. And that team's built like that. And I was super impressed. And I think they showed that against a really good Pittsburgh team, in my opinion. Eric Armstead said, and I got this via The Athletic, I don't think we need to send any messages to any teams. We are who we are, and we play who we play. People watch the film and see what we do. I don't think we sent a message. We just do what we do. Pretty impressive stuff. That shows that they believe, and they are in the upper echelon of the NFL, all the football. All right, Jack. Number 2, my man, Mr. Referee. This ref gets absolutely drilled on the sideline in the Washington Commanders Arizona Cardinals game. Hit on the sideline, late hit, whatever it was. And he gets up off the ground and he still throws the flag from the clip. Jack, fire up the video.
Year, and Howell scrambling off to the left side, and bam, a big hit as he's going out of bounds, knocks the official down. Multiple flags come out. We got differences between the Commanders and Cardinals players. I think it was Kazir White, a safety, came in and blasted Howell as he was going out of bounds. They called a personal foul, unnecessary roughness against White. Howell gets up, teammate helps him out, get the shoulder.
That's it. That's amazing work. This ref gets absolutely smoked. If you haven't seen this video, and then he gets up, pops up, and throws the flag. An unreal clip. That hurts. It hurts to get hit like that without pads on. With pads on, that guy got absolutely smoked. And I feel bad for these refs because every time you laugh as a player, as a fan, when these guys get crushed. I know everyone gets on the referees and all, but man, I do feel bad for that guy. He is hurting today. He's number 2, the best thing I saw. And then number 1, Jack, this guy's a monster. Just cue the tape.
I was chatting with a few members of the Allah! 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 Community. And they said,
if I'm Pat McAfee and I'm Pat McAfee's agent, I'm going right to the ESPN offices and I'm renegotiating a deal because Pat broke the internet this weekend. Pat is confirmed the king of sports media now, if he wasn't already. He had his first show air Friday, and that was incredible. I was at the gym. It aired on ESPN. It usually was airing on his own YouTube show. Everybody at the gym was watching him. You can't even hear it. No voice. Just watching Pat. It's just the camera's on him the whole time, pretty much. That was unreal. So he broke the internet then. Then he breaks the internet on Saturday at College Game Day. The people at the desk are shocked. Even the guys that have seen the wildest stuff in the world on that desk. Lee Corso's shooting guns and cursing and putting the hats on, and it's chaos there. Pat stole the show. And then the opening ceremony of the Colts game, he's doing the whole ring in, and he's talking shit to the other coaches. I mean, the guy is absolutely electric, and he's paved his own way, and he's an absolute trailblazer, and the guy's a machine. He's been doing that all college football long. He's going to be all over your TV, and he never gets old. Number 1 ESPN YouTube show in 5 months. He's going to have Nick Saban join him weekly. He already has Aaron Rodgers join him weekly. The guy is an absolute machine. And the way he did that, Jack, what were your thoughts, man? I mean, we were going crazy in our group text. I'm like, this guy is on another level.
I mean, he's reinvigorated. I mean, I've mentioned it a lot before, like my friend group, my age bracket and below, a little bit above, does not watch television at all. The closest we get are these McAfee that just like putting on the Eagles game 20, 30 minutes in advance just to have something on and watch before the game starts, background noise, whatever. McAfee has changed that in the sense that people want to go watch him, especially now that he's on YouTube and kids will go watch stuff on YouTube, and his show it was an easy no-brainer deal for ESPN. And so far, I really have all the complaints that came out that he was going to be whatever he said, like a sellout. I really haven't heard any of that so far. It seems like his show has pretty much been relatively untouched outside a few things that would need to happen for anybody to be on TV no matter what.
Yeah, that's my biggest fear too, Jack. I understand. The thing is, he's not barstooled, right? He's not like unedited completely, and he doesn't like. He's just maybe a curse word here and there, which I think is healthy for passion. But no, you're right, man. It's super impressive what he's done, and he's opened up, this new opportunity for so many people. Pat's an absolute monster. So the ball boy from Ole Miss, Tom Brady, Brock Purdy, the ref getting drilled, and then Pat McAfee is the best thing I saw this weekend. Another new segment brought to you by our friends over at Wealth Advisory Services, wealthadvisoryservices.com. Stocks that we are buying and stocks that we are selling. I'm going to start with the one stock I'm selling right now, Jack. And that is bad youth football coaches. Shout out to whoever you are, because you guys are the worst. Jack, do you have this video we can show folks? Because this is ridiculous.
Yes, y'all fighting just like y'all were doing. Fucking fight, bro. Kick his ass. Fight. Fight. Yeah, you get whooped, Zay.
All right, kill it, Jack. That's enough of that. Youth football coaches, PSA, get your shit together. These videos we're getting of young kids destroying each other, young kids fist fighting with helmets and shoulder pads on, that is not football. These videos now are getting blown way out of proportion, and moms and dads across the country, when they're typing in youth football, these are the videos that are coming up, and that's going to hurt the game. So it breaks my heart because I got it from Torrey Smith today. I saw it before. Torrey posted it again today, very upset like I am, that this is news in football, because it's an absolute shame. The game is safer than it's ever been. But youth football coaches, the NFL needs to step up. Somehow, some way, the NFL needs to bless every single youth football coach. They have to do a certain amount of drills that are done per practice to get that blessing, and then they get a grant or whatever it may be for these young programs. College football needs to step up. These big-time high school football programs in the area need to step up. And I get it. It's hard to police everybody. But it is bad what's happening in youth football when you watch these videos. It's making me sick to my stomach. I didn't do any of that stuff in Bucks County growing up, Jack. I don't know about you.
No, we had a little bit like intense practices in Pop Warner, but they weren't really some bad. Like
You do Oklahoma drill. It's doing football-based stuff. You're tackling and all that. I get that. But these guys are fist fighting and pads and helmets and saying just build toughness. What is that?
Yeah. I don't think we ever did anything really bad in the sense of hitting. If anything, we did a lot of conditioning. And like we had the hill and all that stuff, but it really wasn't like. I was also like second grade at the time, so I really don't know how bad it actually was in reality. It was my first time ever playing football, so like.
Yeah, coaches got to get it together though, bro. I think that's the answer though, Jack. NFL, college football, put your funds together and find a way to fund these places. And hey, man, pay some people to go coach these kids or whatever, because it's bad, really freaking bad. So, all right, the stocks that I'm buying, Jack. Deion Sanders is going to get plucked out of Colorado. Mark my words. Now, whether he leaves or not, I have no idea. But one of these big brands is going to open up in college football this year. Somebody's going to get fired or step away from a place that we may not expect it, but it's going to happen. I don't know the brand. I don't know the school, but there's the 10, 15 brands in college football that cannot be denied are unreal jobs. They have the most money in NIL. They have the biggest alumni base. They have the biggest stadiums. They have the biggest purse, pocketbook, whatever you want to call it, to spend money on coaches, to spend money on apparel, to spend money on new facilities. There's like 15, 20 of them that are just out of this world. You can name them right now sitting in your car. If I'm one of those teams and we're kind of stuck in a rut of 8, 9 wins and we're not getting to that 10, 11 big-time Final Four every year, why wouldn't you back up the Brinks trunk for Deion Sanders? Why wouldn't you? And say, we'll pay your buyout, and I'll make you the richest coach in college football history times 2. And we need you to come do what you did at Colorado at a big-time brand in college football. Now, he's making that place a big-time brand, and he may love life out there, and I'm not saying Deion's leaving. But, I mean, the brand is through the roof. and he will continue to win. Who knows what the future of the season looks like, but the brand's through the roof, and the way he can microwave and flip a team around is something really impressive. And I think somebody's going to come up, and it's only a matter of time till somebody offers him a job and a Brinks truck full of money and all the resources he wants, and they're going to try to pull him out of Colorado because he's doing it there. He can do it anywhere in college football at the highest level, in my opinion.
I honestly feel like him going to Florida, which is, I think that's an interesting fit right there.
Exactly what I said this week, Jack. If I'm Florida, I'm going to cut you off. You finish and then go.
Well, nothing. I was going to say, I would highly, highly doubt he would leave before. He just seems to have a special affinity for Travis Hunter. It makes a lot of sense that he sees a lot of himself in Travis. And I don't know about transfer rules if he'll switch schools again. Just how everything is, like just moving up, going to your third school in 4 years. I think he would move after next year. I don't think he would move before then. But I could absolutely see him. And especially with a caliber of a guy like Deion, he's not somebody where it's like he's an OC that needs to capitalize on his hot streak. Like it's always going to be there. And he's set in Colorado for a couple of years that he can sort of pick and choose. But yeah, I think Florida's a perfect landing spot for him when that time does come.
I love it, Jack. Love that you said that. I thought about it the other day, and I'll get into that in a second. We were talking about it this weekend, and someone's like, "You're crazy." I'm like, "Why wouldn't Florida do that?" Now, I feel bad for Billy Napier because he's not going to get the proper amount of time to build his program, and that's normal, right? Like Nebraska's going to give Coach Rhule time to flip that program around. We're going to get into that in a second. That's a stock I'm going to be buying low. But I just – and here's the thing. Their offensive coordinator, I believe, he left a Division I college coaching job in the MAC to become an offensive coordinator at Colorado. He made a parallel or a step-down move to go be with Deion. So what do you think coaches are going to do if he goes to a big-time school where they can pay him even more money? Because I'm thinking a lot of people don't understand is some of these coaches may pay their head coach a lot, but they may not give the head coach an allotment to pay their assistants as much as other places. So stay tuned. Florida is a great one, Jack. And listen, Mario Cristobal down in Miami's doing a nice job. He's the guy there for it. Like Deion, I guess Florida State, I get all that, but like if I'm a big brand, man, if I am a big brand, there's only a couple of them. Who are the big brands? Let's go through them. USC, their coach is good. UCLA, that's another one. They're not going to fire Chip for that.
Maybe there'll be a big program in the Big Ten.
What am I saying? I'm wrong. I'm way wrong. Okay, go down.
Ohio
State, Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State. They're all big ones.
Mm-hmm. Clemson.
Florida State, Clemson.
That's 6. Alabama.
Bama.
Texas A&M.
LSU.
It's 10 right there.
Notre Dame. Somebody's probably screaming in their phone right at us.
Oklahoma. Did we say
Oklahoma? Good one. Yeah, that's about it. There's a couple more. But the big ones that are saying, okay, Clemson's one to keep your eye on. Uh-oh. If things don't trend upwards at Clemson, listen, Dabo is a great football coach, and they've had an amazing run, and they may still continue their run. But that's a big brand, Jackie Boo. Kids will be flooding there with Deion. They already have studs. They're loaded. So we'll see. It's great conversation for sports talk, and it's good stuff there. So I'm buying that stock, Jack. Whatever if that's a penny stock, I'm buying it. I'm buying stock in the Niners high. They're like Amazon to me right now. I'm buying that, even though it's expensive. I'm buying that. I'm buying the Eagles stock. Everyone reacting, a win's a win. What does that even mean? That's a good team. What do you expect? To blow people out? Can we get some realistic expectations for the NFL here? They got good players too on that side. They got a great coach on that side too. And when you beat yourself in football, like the Eagles did, like Nebraska did this weekend, right? Like it's tough to compete. Now the Eagles prevailed at the end and they won. But I'm buying the Eagle stock. I'm buying the Giants stock, Jack. I know they got smoked last night, but that's how the NFL goes sometimes early on. Or some weeks you look back and say, whew, man, we got rocked that day. I think they have a good roster. I think they have a roster that matches up with a lot of teams. I think Dallas is a great team. But I think the Giants have a great coach. They have the right pieces in place to win. Great D-line. Good pieces along the O-line. Great back. They have good pieces to throw the football to. I'm a Daniel Jones fan. But when you go down 2-3 scores like that, when you blink of an eye, I don't care who you are, unless you're like Kansas City or you're built like, Minnesota, like they did a couple years, like last year against the Colts, where they can move the ball around the field and make a couple comebacks based off how they're spinning it. I'm buying that stock too in the Giants. Right now people say that stock's low. I'm going to buy that low. I'm buying the Bengals along with it. I think a lot of people are, of course. It's another hiccup game. What happened there? And then in college football, I didn't do a ton of deep diving on this of what I would do, but I would invest in Nebraska. Obviously, I'm a Coach Rhule guy. I get it. Temple, Carolina, all this stuff. But there's some things I saw this week when they played Colorado that they're pretty good now. Now they can't beat themselves, right? They know that, but things are trending in the right direction. There's some players on that team that didn't play like that last year. There's some pop on that defense. You're like, oh boy, these kids can play. I mean, Colorado wasn't doing anything stopping their run. Nebraska was running the ball at will, and then it exploded on the second half on them. But I think Nebraska's a team. I'm buying that stock. Maybe not year one, but they're building something impressive out there in Nebraska. You watch in a couple of years. I like what they got going on. So 40 minutes, Jackie, you, me, Yoni, and some good chatter about maybe Deion Sanders getting bounced. I think that's a real thing. I don't think people are talking about that enough. I haven't heard anybody else talk about that. Have you talked to anybody has anybody said that? Are we the first here at Not For Long Media in the Colin Thompson show?
I think it's kind of just been like talked around casually as kind of we have. It's obvious when a guy really does well at like a P5 low tier.
But this is different. This is different. This is way different because they're in another division conference because of this guy.
Yeah. I know that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's usual for that when somebody like Deion comes in, it's an obvious conversation of, oh, when's he going to take that next leap? I mean, everybody's always got their one eye on the next step with that sort of stuff. So
he's got, I don't know how many eyes he has on the next step, but we have him here, Not For Long Media. Somebody's going to come in with literally a blank checkbook and say, Deion, write what you want. That's going to happen. That is going to happen. And not that Deion's like looking for more money. It's just like somebody may do it. Deion be like, no, I got plenty of money. I like what I got going here at Colorado. I'm going to build it this way. Because all those kids can come with them again. The whole team can go to the next place with him. I mean, it's free agency. He's playing by the rules. I don't blame him. So, I mean, who else would have that effect? I think Nick Saban would have that effect if he went somewhere. But that's about it.
Harbaugh, maybe.
I think he's a great coach. Don't get me wrong. But like, all these kids aren't like jumping to go, but if Deion does it and Saban does it, that's it. And it's zero disrespect to any coach. But I'm talking about like mass movement, crazy transfers. This is the hot team to play for now. Yeah, interesting stuff. I digress. When there's nothing left to talk about, the show is over. That's Jack Connell. Not For Long Media's got plenty of podcasts, guys. Check them out. I'm Colin Thompson. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you enjoyed some football weekend. Lots to look forward to again this weekend. And we'll have an interview coming out later this week with Keenan Bailey, Ohio State tight ends coach, a good friend of mine, and a great story how we connected. He's coaching them boys up at OSU. 9/11, a sad day, a day we will never forget, and our country will never forget. Horrible, horrible day. Thank you all for your service and ultimate sacrifice for this country, and thoughts and prayers to all those families affected and the first responders.